What's up, man? He turned down $8 million to fight Margarito, a guy he's quoted as easy work.
Right. I think that, you know, could be something, you know, he might think he has to say that, you know, what has Margarito done, how has past fighters looked against him.
Okay, but what has Sean Bay Mitchell done, and what has Zab Judah done? Well, so do you think it's peculiar that all of a sudden it's a matter of what have you done lately when it came to Margarito, when it wasn't the case when he fought Zab Judah coming off a loss to a guy with 9 losses and 11 KOs? And they tried to validate winning the IBF belt, although winning it from Zab, that Zab kept because I think my man was too broke to pay the sanction fees, and he wanted to hold on to the $100 grand. But he said that it was a legit title. But then all of a sudden, it's Margarito's turn, and it's the last time he was on TV, he lost to Santos. Whatever, people want to see it, and they offer you $8 million to do it, and you just called the guy easy work. What do you think about that?
Well, the thing is, if he takes something less than Margarito, you know, if he takes a fight outside of Margarito, and
I've been hearing Kermit Cintron.
I've heard that too, and that's that's insane. I really don't think that'll come to fruition.
A guy that Margarito smashed in, was it 4 or 5 rounds?
Oh, but he smashed.
It was ugly.
Yeah, it was ugly. But you know, if he takes another fight outside of Margarito, fraud. You know, I personally, I mean, you know, is he waiting? You know, what's he waiting for? Is he waiting for Mosley Vargas winner? Perhaps Spinks is calling him out. You know, obviously he's a businessman now. You know, his name. He's putting himself out there like that. You know, he wants to make that big money. You know, and $8 million is big money.
Big money.
Against a very risky fighter in Margarito. So you know, obviously he's not gonna, you know, punk out and, you know, say, well, maybe there's too much risk, you know, for reward here, you know, and so.
Because you got to assume that Vargas has stated, you know, win or lose, he's going to 160. Shane has stated he's going back to 147, but he wants a couple more two-round fights, and he's not fighting anymore this year.
Right.
Haddon's people have said they want to wait till next year, and I've been hearing rumblings that Cotto is lined up on December 9th to face the winner of Vladimir Gotti. So who is he really waiting on?
Right, exactly. So we'll see.
Well, see, that's why it's hard for me right now to call him fraud, because all these guys that are there for him to fight, most of which he's willing to fight, they're not available. Whether it's their promoters or managers or the fighters themselves, they're not making themselves available to fight him. So I kind of agree with EVZ. I think his next fight will kind of maybe determine whether it's Floyd or fraud. You know, I'm a big fan of his skills, big fan of Floyd. You know, Margarito, it is a risk versus reward thing. Margarito is a tough fighter. He comes forward.
Big guy.
He throws punches all day. But, you know, I don't think Floyd can fight anybody under Margarito's caliber. Unless it's a major name, you know, unless it's a Shane or a Vargas or somebody he's going to make a lot of money with, because once you get to a certain point, it's all about making money or making big fights. Margarito isn't necessarily a big fight, although it was probably a competitive fight.
Right, exactly. And, you know, we might have seen, you know, he's probably going to bring the same type of challenge to Floyd like Castillo did. One of his, you know, probably his
bigger.
Yeah,
One of Castillo?
No, Margarito's bigger. He said he's going to bring the same type of challenge that Castillo's going to bring.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But it's like Castillo, but bigger. Margarito. Oh, you don't think
Saying.
so? You're right. You're right.
May not necessarily be true.
Right.
Back when they fought, that was the case.
Yeah, I heard Castillo's up to fight on the bell next month. If he can make the weight.
Right.
Well, I'm a be diplomatic about it. Like my man said, it's some things going on with other fighters. It might not completely be his fault. I, for one, wasn't on the Margarito bandwagon. Didn't see why it was such a big deal for him to face him. He's got kind of an amateur style, not that much skill.
Not that much skill.
I mean, not that there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, because what he does, he's good at it. If your game is is pressure and stamina and you know, hard punches, and you know that's good. I mean, as far as skill wise, you know, there's no comparison. But I was interested in it just to see how, because I don't think Floyd is a welterweight. First of all, I was interested to see how he would handle a bigger man pressuring him like that, based off the complications he had with Castillo in their first 2 bouts. So that made it intriguing. I don't necessarily think Margarito so much deserves the publicity that he's been, and the push that he's been getting, but I was interested in seeing it. Now, he called him easy work, but then he turned it down, so that made me think, well, what is going on here? Is he scared of him? Is he running? Because I'm a fan of guys that I love Trinidad. You know, never turned down a fight, never moaned about money, you know, came up through the divisions. I'm a fan of guys like that. So I kind of want to see him take a risky fight where the outcome is not already determined right after the contract is signed. Well, okay, Floyd's gonna beat him down. Everybody knows that. So.
And I agree. Got to defend my man Margarito though. Felt like you weren't giving him enough props. Margarito went what, 5, 6 years without losing a bout before Santos, and that was a bout that was stopped on what was it, cuts. You know, it was a close fight. Could have went either way. You know, I think Margarito's, he has done plenty to warrant the rumblings and the fans saying you need to fight this guy to be legit.
I mean, as far as, you know, like Haddon, you know, kind of handing Zoo his hat, you're like, oh, okay, you knew ones. I mean, he hasn't, like the demo that Haddon put down on Casa Zoo. You know what I'm saying? You're seeing Cotto fighting, maybe not too high, but more established fighters. He's been knocking them out left and right. You know, guys like that you want to see him in with. That's all I'm saying. Not that he isn't a good fighter, but he doesn't maybe have the star quality that some of the other guys would bring in.
Right, and he's one of those avoided fighters where not too many big names want to take that risk.
Right.
So he's not getting that opportunity. I thought when he knocked out Citron, because Citron was being built up as the next big thing.
Yeah, pushing him hard.
And I said he was going to knock him out. When he got him out of there, I said, okay, this may be the next step. But he couldn't get any fights. He was on the shelf for a nice little bit. And
which is partly Bob Arum's fault.
Oh, yeah.
Bob Arum only puts him on pay-per-view undercards. He tried to sell him on his own pay-per-view card against a guy, and we're junkies. The name of the site is Boxing Addictz. He put him on a pay-per-view card against no one I had ever heard of. I mean, I think the guy had 10 losses.
Right.
I mean, even the strictest boxing fans aren't going to jump for that. And then you get there's no undercard. I mean, so it's probably his promotional company's fault that he's not getting the exposure he needs. He needs to do some Showtime dates, some HBO dates, you know.
Right. But, you know,
get some exposure.
Is his breakthrough fight going to be against Floyd? You know? How long did Winky have to wait, you know?
Right.
He fought on Roy Jones undercards for years.
Right.
You know, and...
Hey, let's not call that fighting.